why, from where I sit, immediately can't be read alone in the directives. It needs to be read with what I requested from the National Commissioner, saying, go and prepare the preliminary report, and then also later, after the preliminary report, there should be MINESCO. MINESCO is where minister and deputy minister, that is ministry, sit with top management, so that we consider what I have taken a decision on immediately. So immediately would then mean the decision has been taken immediately. Then prepare for those two things. So when you read that immediately alone, you remove the preliminary report and you remove the MINESCO meeting that was attached to that very directive, immediately loses meaning as in the directive.
I'm sorry, Minister. I want to understand your use of immediately. What do you say immediately relates to? Does it relate to the disbandment, that is disbandment immediately? If not, what do you say it relates to? I'm not sure I understood you.
It relates to a decision having been taken. So saying to the National Commission, take note that the decision has been taken immediately. The decision.
So it is you that acted immediately.
Maybe let me put it like this to explain. It doesn't say, for instance, with immediate effect. It says immediately, meaning this decision has been taken immediately.
So the way I'm sitting, I think the two mean the same.
But in the context, especially when you attach the preliminary report, which is not required as of 31, it is required for another date, and then the MINESCO, it clearly sends a message that this immediate is not like switching off. It's not like whoever is driving.
Minister, when I studied or was taught English in my younger days, they would say an adverb. What does it do? It modifies a verb, I think, and an adjective qualifies a noun. That's the grammar I was taught. So your immediately is an adverb. So which verb in your sentence does it modify or does it relate to? That's where I want to be sure of what exactly you mean. Because as the sentence stands, it follows immediately after the verb disestablished. And ordinarily, I would read that to mean that you want the task team disestablished immediately. So the immediately relates to disestablished. So that's what must happen immediately. Now, with those views and a little bit of grammar insofar as I understand it, can you try to explain and make me understand your use of immediately?
It says immediately, yes.
Yes.
But then, because I understood that immediately is a process, it denotes a process, there would definitely be a process which the National Commissioner needs to speak to or respond to. It is immediately, but pointing to two futuristic events. The preliminary report, if you like, you would say, oh, okay, it's immediately, but not before the preliminary report is presented, or not before the MINESCO, because otherwise what would be the meaning of writing, asking for a preliminary report, if it was not indicating a timeline. It was indicating a timeline. Immediately the decision has been taken immediately. But then the process itself will be as indicated in the letter. Otherwise, I could have written this and stopped it immediately, and it would have given a different meaning. And anyone who says, what is any other meaning here except exactly what it says, immediately disband now and everything. But once you say it's like saying pending a preliminary report, pending the UNESCO meeting. But of course, that is immediately. And in the context of government processes, you use these words, but
it can't come to a screeching halt, as it were. It would have to.
Pardon?
I'm saying what you are saying, basically, Minister, is that it could not come to a screeching halt.
It wouldn't.
All right.
It wouldn't.
All right, Minister, thank you. I was
you.
not interrogating you. I just wanted to understand your use of immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Minister, can I just follow up on that? I do apologize, Mr.
No, it's
now
quite
that
okay.
the
Thank
chair has started there. And it's on the back of this discussion with the chairperson, how you're explaining what you contemplated with the use of immediately. Now, there are two things that you ask the National Commissioner to do. You say he must give a preliminary report on the 20th of January, and then the last act in execution of your decision is a final and closing report that must be submitted to a late meeting in January 2025. Now, in the interim report, in the light of this discussion with the chair, what did you expect to see in the implementation of this instruction? What do you expect to see in the interim report?
I was expecting just any kind of a response that would give effect to the directive. If not, any other response from the National Commissioner. And I must say, I've done this even in other departments a few times, even in a meeting, to say, DG, we've taken a decision now. We have immediately taken a decision. And I would even ask, how long would it take you? A week? I'm the first one normally to say a week. And DG would say, Minister, 2 weeks. And I would say fine. Because I've come to understand how officials of government work. They work very hard, but not without one form or the other of relaxing. Sometimes in a situation where you really feel the pressure yourself. So I was expecting that National Commissioner would respond. That is the word. He would respond to the directive. But in particular, indicating how this would be given effect, how it would happen from his perspective. Simply because even if I left it in earlier, where I was explaining the powers of the minister vis-a-vis the powers of the National Commissioner, but they are the two sides of the same coin.
Yes. And, okay, I note what you say. I guess we'll have a further discussion. And then you've told us what you would expect, you were expecting to see in the interim, in the preliminary report. And then in the final report, which must come in January still, it's a close-up report. What do you expect to see there?
I was expecting to see, first, get the outcome of the preliminary report. Depending on the preliminary report,